Welcome back to another episode of the AIM Show. Today, we're going to be talking about how no one is coming to save you, ancient wisdom, some modern insights, and how we can become better versions of ourselves and better stewards of Christ. So, in a world filled with opportunity, like last episode, we talked about how the paradox of choice was very prevalent in our day and age. We have so many options. We have so many mentors. We have more access to anything in human history. Yet we're all paralyzed. We're all numb. We're all scrolling on our phones, hoping that something hits and hoping that something will just change magically. But you have to realize that no one is coming to save you from this, not a person. Your family's not going to save you. Your government's not going to save you. Your friends are not going to save you. And you have to understand this. In James 2 verses 17, it says, "Faith without works is dead." You and God, that's a team. This episode is going to be talking about how we can become the person God can trust more, with more stuff, with more purpose, with more blessings, with more impact. So I just want to get into it right away. So why do most people stay stuck? Now, I think we can all agree that most people don't like change. They like comfort, and that's just a human trait that we're all born with. We all want a different life, but we can't leave the life or their old life behind in order to become the new person to have the new life. And that's a hard truth because most people will never change. And I think a lot of people haven't understood that yet. A lot of people live in a society or a community where people don't change. And they don't realize that because you want to change and because you want to have self-improvement so that you can get into a better place in your life, that doesn't mean everyone else is going to do that. And maybe your rate of progress is 10 times quicker than the people around you. And that's why your network and your surrounding, who you surround yourself with, is extremely important. Because if you surround yourself with people who don't want to change or want to stay the same and aren't in the position or the place that you want to get to, then it's very hard to grow into the person that God calls you to be, right? Change means dying to your old self. And I've talked about this a lot. Dying to your old identity, dying to the old stories, dying to the excuses that you have. Because you have to realize that when you go from your old version of yourself to the new version of yourself, that's a change that you have to accept. But it's also something that you have to destroy. So like if I were to have a bad habit and I wanted to get rid of that bad habit, I can't get rid of it 90% of the time and keep it 10% of the time and call myself a new person because I still do that habit that I know I shouldn't be doing. But if I want to become a new person, I have to get rid of that habit 100% if it's a bad habit. Let's say I'm just binge eating. And if I don't get rid of that habit, then I'm a slave to that habit. And if I can't get rid of that bad habit, then I'm not going to become the new person that God calls me to become. So you have to be able to cut yourself off and change from that old identity and kill that old identity of yourself. You have to understand this. By John Maxwell says, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily." And I think it's very true. We live in a world that glorifies potential but punishes effort. A lot of people congratulate you for starting that business, but secretly behind doors, they're praying for your downfall. And it's very, very hard to find people who are genuinely trying to support your success and your journey. People will be super appreciative and super supportive when you start a new idea because it removes the competition in their mind right now. And they're going to be right for 5 years, 10 years, however long it takes to get to success. But once you get to success and once you reach the goals that you wanted to reach, they start criticizing you. They start belittling you. And they get mad, they get jealous, they get envious because you took the risk when they didn't. And you have to understand that effort in this day and age will take you so much further than you possibly can imagine. Just a little bit of effort. Most people nowadays can't just do the work. It's a sad reality that most people don't realize. We have one of the greatest transformational shifts in the world. We have the most available knowledge, the most luxuries we've ever had in our life. Yet most of us sit on our butt, sit inside, scroll on our phone, and don't take the opportunity at hand to go all in and change the lives of people around us. We have the ability to completely and utterly change the trajectory of our world, the trajectory of what we believe in, and how our world becomes. That's the next generation of people. We have the biggest wealth transfer ever. There's so many people who are in the boomer age who are starting to retire, and all that money, it's not going to go and evaporate into thin air. It's all going to be transferred down to the younger people. And what are we going to do with that money? What are we going to do with that wealth? This country, for example, in the United States of America, is worth trillions of dollars. The economy is worth trillions of dollars. That isn't just going to evaporate. You have to understand that the next generation has a responsibility, and we have so much opportunity. Why do we look at this world as such a negative place? We have so much blessing. We have so much prosperity in this world. And people still decide to not take action, to not change, because change is uncomfortable. And people don't like that. People will post about their goals. People will post about their lives, but never actually do it. People will post about their gym progress, but actually never go to the gym. People will say they have peace, but have a chaotic relationship behind closed doors. People will want God more, post about God, and glorify Christianity for clout. You have to understand that that's not the point of all this. Here's an insight by Carl Jung. You are what you do, not what you'll say you'll do. And I think that's a very, very prevalent thing. Now, everyone has fallen victim to it, and I've also fallen victim to it. And I'm not here to say that I'm a perfect human, which I'm far from being perfect. And I'm learning things as I go. But something that we can all work on is doing things rather than saying things that we'll do and then not following through on the things that we said we'll do. Being able to follow through on your word, being able to not portray yourself as a better version of yourself than you actually are is extremely important. Putting a fake facade on just to elude or just to pretend that you're something that you're not is not a good thing. You have to be authentic. You have to be yourself because God created you in an authentic image. Why would you want to be in a fake persona to impress others? Yeah, maybe you feel more comfortable. Maybe you feel more accepted in your group. But that's not what we're called to do. We're not called to be conformed into this world. We're called to be ourselves. We're called to glorify God with our works, with our actions. And you have to understand that. We have to understand that silence. We have to understand that being able to shut off the noise so that we can change ourselves from the inside first and then change our outside being is extremely important. We can't hear God's word if we're constantly in chaos, distracted and propagated with a bunch of different ideas at once. That's the paradox of choice. And you have to understand people don't like change. And when there's overwhelming amount of choices to choose from, where there's immense opportunity in every single aspect of human endeavor, people freeze. People struggle to find what they should do. And that's where you have to take a step back, have to bring it to God, and have to sit in silence and ask, is this actually what I want with my life? Now, I think self-responsibility is a gift. Self-responsibility has been very demonized in our culture today, making it a mistake, shame, or guilty, or hyper-independence. But I think that ownership is not punishment. It's empowerment to become a better person. Because once you take ownership of your time, your thoughts, your circle, your habits, your health, your emotions, you access something so much greater because you are in control with the things that you can be in control with. In 1 Corinthians 6:20, it says, "You are not your own, you were bought at a price. Therefore honor your God with your bodies." You were quote unquote purchased. That means that we're stewards. We're not owners. Your time, the time is not yours. The talent is not yours. The purpose is not yours. You're a vessel, and that's not a weakness. That's just what God has given you and the gift that God has given you. Alex Hormozy, a very famous businessman, said it beautifully. When you're an entrepreneur, no one is going to ever tell you that you did a quote unquote good job. It's expected. You own the business. Get used to it. You never did it for them anyways. You have to understand this. You have to stop understanding. You have to stop needing the applause for doing what you're made to do. You can't wait for the applause or the pat on the back to do what God called you to do. Because if we all waited for people and the people who surrounded us to applause and say that you were doing the right thing, then we would never get anything done. This podcast, for example, I'm not waiting for people to applaud me in this podcast. This is what God had put on my heart to share to the world and to inspire. And I'm not waiting for outside and external validation so that I can continue doing this. This is something that I consistently show up and I consistently do because it glorifies God and is what God has called me to do. Real stewards, we don't really need attention. And this is not what I'm doing for attention. They really just need an assignment from God. They need purpose from God. They need something that aligns. This podcast is an amazing example of this. For the past first and second season, I haven't done any interviews this second season yet, which there will be plenty of in-person, plenty of online in the near future. It's been incredible to see how many doors open when you align yourself with what you see as God's purpose for you. When you pray about it, when you work with it, how many doors open up, how many opportunities connect. It's actually immensely powerful and immensely creative, but it's also super beautiful. It's super beautiful to see that. I think that instinct and our inner compass is something that I kind of want to touch on and something that I want to talk about. There's always that little whisper that says inside of you, or maybe it's your gut instinct, that quiet whisper that says, this isn't it. It's time to build this. Leave that group chat, or stop doing this because you know it's not good for you. You're meant for more. That quiet voice, the more you ignore it, the quieter it gets. I've noticed over the time of me being more aware of these different things. And eventually your body becomes quite numb. Not because you're lazy or not because you're incapable of understanding things, but because you've stopped listening to it. Albert Einstein said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." Ancient Stoics believed that logos, divine order, reason, truth, lived inside every single person. Paul in the Bible said something similar, which was the Spirit intredes. What the heck did I write down here? The Spirit, for us, the Spirit is it within us, for us, even when we don't even know how to pray. And for God, it is. And in Philippians, I don't know what I'm saying. I just had like a brain malfunction. But in Philippians 2:13, it says, "For it is God who works in you and to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose." The Holy Spirit isn't just a spiritual fluff. It's a practical instinct. It nudges you towards the right decisions and away from the fake ones. It leads you into what you're meant to do. It tells you, it gives you that gut instinct. But you can't hear it if you don't quiet the noise and listen to it. That's how you hear him again. Silence, stillness, obedience, consistency. Most people change, and that's okay. Now, here's the truth. You are going to outgrow people in life. The friends that you love right now, some of them will not grow at the same trajectory that you will grow. The friends that you respect might. You might not respect them in 5 years because they do something. The mentors that you admired might have let you down, or maybe you've surpassed your mentors. And if you're not prepared to walk this life with you and God, you'll just stay small, and it's hard to walk boldly in faith. Oftentimes, I think of growth and the trajectory that I want to grow at. And I see the people I surround myself with, and sometimes they don't meet the same trajectory. And there's chapters in everyone's life. There's chapters in everyone's life. There is a chapter in everyone's life, and there's sometimes many of those chapters where it's just you, the lonely chapter, with God. Because you're outgrowing the people that you used to be close with, that you used to poke jokes at, but now you've outgrown those small talk, mediocre conversations that don't lead to success in the way that you want it. Maybe they don't inspire you the way they used to. Maybe they don't challenge you. Maybe they don't motivate you to become a better person. And maybe that's okay. It's okay for you to move past and continue to grow. You have to understand that some people are only here for part of a season in our lives, part of a opportunity, part of this journey that we're blessed to have. Some people tell us that we're going down the wrong path. Some people tell us that we're going down the right path. Being able to find people who lift you up and not tear you down, honestly, genuinely, is extremely rare, but it's extremely important to find and surround yourselves with those people. When you are in this lonely chapter with yourself, you have to remember that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always God there for you. And there is that group of people that are waiting for you when you get there. Now, the scary part that happens when you get to this point is, what happens if you keep going past the next group of friends and your next social group? When you start improving yourself so much that you leave your old friends, but then you keep improving and you just keep going and you pass the next group. You finally achieve that friend group, but then you keep going because you're consistently improving and they're not consistently improving at the same rate you are. That is probably the most terrifying yet instinctually okay thing that will happen in your life. You have to understand that you might move at a faster trajectory towards your goals than everyone else. And yeah, it's going to be very, very hard. And it's very challenging sometimes when it's just you, because you're responsible for it. You're responsible for your mistakes that you have made. You're responsible for the poor decisions that you make on a daily basis that lead up to the habits and to the decisions that you make. But if you get to the place you've always dreamed of, which you can, and you will if you commit to it, it's going to be beautiful. I believe in you every single day, and I pray that you have success. I'm rooting for you. And you have to look at it from a perspective that even if you don't change as quickly as the people around you, if you're trying your best and you're changing and you're putting in the effort to make a positive impact on this world, that is an amazing thing that you should never stop doing, that you should continue to do no matter what anyone else says. In Mark 6:4, it says, a prophet is without honor except in his hometown. Jesus was rejected by the very people who watched him grow up. So why would your journey be any different? You see people in your hometown criticize you. You see the people closest to you criticize you. And some people who only love the version that doesn't challenge them, right? Some people only like the version of you that they're used to. But God isn't here to make you popular. He's here to make you holy. He's here to get you to the other side. He's here to set you apart. And sometimes that means you have to outgrow your circle. Sometimes that means saying no to certain conversations, saying yes to the hard reality that you might not want to do. Being isolated, being too intense is okay sometimes. Let them all say what they want to say. Let them post what they want to post. Let them criticize you. Let them do that and pray for them. Your fruit, your faithfulness will speak for you, and it's not your responsibility to impress other people. Let me leave you with some timeless actions that you can take onto this week, that you can kind of implement into your life, and I hope that can impact you into understanding that you have a full capability of changing your life if you stay faithful to God, and that you can do it. First is journal in truth. Now, journaling is looked down upon, and I haven't been the best at keeping track with my journaling recently, but I think it's extremely important. And when you journal in truth, not just for the benefit of writing journals, like just so that you could say you write journals, is extremely important. Some things that you can write down are like, what have I believed about myself recently? What area of my life am I pretending to not be responsible for? That's a big one, because it confronts you with the truth. What are you pretending that isn't part, or what you're not responsible for? And Socrates said, the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. Take one area to go all in and take full dominion over. Is it your sleep? Is it your discipline on your food? Is it your content creation? Is it your walk with God? Take one thing at a time. I would recommend your walk with God, because it's extremely important. I think it's the most important thing in your world, in life. And just go all in and start stacking up small wins on a day-to-day basis. You can add habits. You can add tasks that you can do. You can add a consistent basis to scheduling a certain thing. Spend 10 minutes of silence a day. This can be in the form of meditation. This can be in the form of breath work. This can be in the form of just sitting outside in the sun and doing nothing. No phone, no agenda, just silence with God and allowing him to come to you and allowing you to be grateful for everything that you have in your life. If you're watching this video, you are so blessed by so much, and you probably don't even understand how blessed you are. Let go of the relationship that's keeping you stuck. Now, this one is a hard one because we all know that one relationship that we cling onto because of family, because of social norms or whatever, who has you, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. You know the person, you know the relationship that you know you shouldn't be in, the one that makes you shrink, the one that makes you further from God, the one that pulls you away from becoming the best version of yourself. Let them go with love. You're not better than them. You're not better than that person, by no means. You might just be moving further. You might be on a different path, and you can leave them with love. You can pray for them, and you can be respectful. But some people are just not meant to be with you in this journey for the whole time. And oftentimes it hurts in the moment, but it hurts even more if you keep them in your life, but they lead you astray from the things that matter in this world. God didn't save you to play the small game in life. He didn't give you the breath just to scroll on social media. So this is your reminder to understand that you are made to create an impact. Your instincts are not going to lie to you. Your stewardship is an act of worship. No one is going to come and save you. But he already came. And now it's your turn to move. In Luke 12:48, it says, "To whom much is given, much is required." You have to understand that comfort is the enemy of your calling. You are not tired. You're just unaligned with what you need to do in this world. Waiting for someone to come to save you is the slowest way to die in the actual world. If you're waiting for other people to come and applaud you before you start the thing that you know you should be doing, it is a long road ahead of you. Every excuse is just a borrowed language from someone who quit on themselves and didn't believe in themselves. Don't let other people's potential ruin your own, and don't let other people's critiques make you stop from achieving your goals. If you want God to trust you with more, show him you can steward with less, and understand that you can do anything that you put your mind to if you just can stay consistent, stay faithful, and understand that you can do anything that you put your mind to. So stay faithful. Know that I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you guys next week.